Welcome to Inside Gaming and happy God of War Ragnarok weekend, everyone! Yay! Yay! Ragnarok! Yay! I'm Jack and it's roundup time, so let's get into the news. After 2 years of silence, former Doom composer Mick Gordon has come forward with new details surrounding the huge falling out he had with id Software while working on Doom Eternal. If you remember, there was a big kerfuffle, I love that word, kerfuffle, big kerfuffle over the official soundtrack for Doom Eternal back in 2020. Basically, fans discovered that the final mix for the Doom Eternal soundtrack was significantly lower in quality than the official soundtrack for Doom 2016. When Mick Gordon's alleged work was called into question on specific tracks, he replied on Twitter saying, quote, "I didn't mix those and wouldn't have done that. You'll be able to spot the small handful of tracks I mixed, Meat Hook, Command and Control, etc." Meat Hook, that's just a great level name. This led to fans and Redditors digging more into the situation, revealing Gordon hadn't mixed over half the tracks on the Doom Eternal soundtrack, which he clearly wasn't happy about. A YouTube comment was found from Gordon, who commented on a Doom fan cover saying, quote, "Fun fact, all those stupid time signature changes are a result of someone from marketing piecing this track together without any musical knowledge." Ouch. All of the digging, fan backlash, and Gordon's public statements eventually led to id Software studio director Marty Stratton posting a really long official response on Reddit, claiming that Gordon had delayed the soundtrack by under-delivering and missing deadlines, forcing id to get the game's lead audio designer to make up the rest of the tracks. Ooh, burn. Stratton basically blamed the whole ordeal on Gordon, saying, quote, "From our perspective, we didn't want to be involved in the content of the original soundtrack and did absolutely nothing to prevent him from delivering on his commitments within the time frame he asked for, and we extended multiple times." Well, now, over 2 years later, Mick Gordon has finally come forward with his side of the story, and he has come out swinging. Posting on Medium, Gordon wrote, quote, "Marty Stratton's statement is full of lies, disinformation, and innuendo, and when challenged, his company offered me a six-figure sum to shut up about it. When I tried time and time again, amid a torrent of abuse, harassment, and threats, to resolve the matter more amicably, he constantly refused, worried how addressing the Reddit post would damage his own reputation instead." Ooh, this is spicy. The blog post is huge and contains a detailed timeline of Gordon's work on Doom Eternal up to the original soundtrack controversy, including screenshots documenting emails and works in progress. The major takeaways are as follows. While working on the game's audio, not the original soundtrack, that's later, Gordon claims he was expected to complete 2 levels worth of finished music every month for levels that were not even close to being done or didn't exist. To make matters worse, id Software failed to deliver materials like game capture and details about the levels that Gordon needed to compose tracks, which caused delays. Furthermore, there was contract delays. Why not? Let's add that in the mix. Slow communication and multiple interruptions. Apparently, Gordon saw the writing on the wall and proposed a creative scheduling solution, but was shot down by Stratton. Then, according to Gordon, it became clear the scheduling for music production had been woefully mismanaged. Hour-long levels where players traverse fantastic worlds with epic vistas and tricky platforming sections had just 30 seconds allocated to exploration music. Oof. On top of all of that were pay issues, of course. Allegedly, id Software was reluctant to approve multiple concepts and finish tracks for levels they couldn't test, so Gordon went months without pay. First 8, then 11. If all that wasn't enough, id Software announced during E3 2019 that a collector's edition of Doom Eternal would include, quote, Mick Gordon's original Doom Eternal soundtrack. However, in the Medium post, Gordon explains, quote, "The standalone original soundtrack wasn't in production and I hadn't been offered a contract to produce it. In fact, we hadn't talked about the scope, the time frame, or whether it was even feasible. I learned about it all in the media." That's the worst place to learn about things. Pre-orders went on sale immediately. From here, things got really messy, with multiple rejections of audio created for the game and a refusal from Stratton and id Software to discuss a contract for the original soundtrack. Eventually, Gordon finished all the music for the game and was ready to move on to the original soundtrack, but id delayed still. The silence got so bad that after multiple attempts to get a contract, Gordon finally went over id Software and emailed Bethesda directly. That's the parent company. That got things moving, but that wasn't the end of the issues by a long shot. It was 2 weeks before the release of Doom Eternal, and Gordon still hadn't received a final contract. Bethesda then delayed the original soundtrack. Eventually, Gordon signed a contract to do 12 songs in about a month's time. Bethesda gave a deadline of April 16th, but said they would amend the contract if he needed more time. Gordon began working frantically to get the work done despite not receiving any direction on the original soundtrack at all. Things were going well until Stratton emailed in a panic saying that the April 16th deadline was no longer a flexible deadline, but a mandatory one due to consumer protection laws that could be enforced after id promised an original soundtrack pack-in and then delayed it. It was then revealed that lead audio designer Chad Mossholder had been working on an alternate original soundtrack for months using compressed tracks from the game before Gordon even received his contract. After some back and forth, they agreed to try to work together to make a better product with more tracks, but Gordon is greatly displeased after seeing Mossholder's work and decides to just try and focus on fulfilling the agreed upon contract. Gordon crunches over Easter weekend, sleeping under his desk for multiple days, finally asking for a small extension to sort out a technical issue, at which point he could deliver 10 songs. At this point, according to Gordon, Stratton loses it, demands a call, and then proceeds to say he wanted different songs. A disagreement ensues, at which point it's concluded that Gordon will hand over his tracks and Mossholder will complete the finalized original soundtrack. The soundtrack is released in a poor state, and fans began tearing it apart, leading to major video game sites reporting on the criticisms. Within hours, Marty Stratton demands another call with Mick Gordon to try to come up with a solution and address the negative backlash publicly. Now again, this is all according to Gordon. The two agreed to do a joint statement to clear the air and dispel any rumors. Gordon was waiting for a draft of the statement when Marty Stratton's quote open letter on Reddit appeared days later. Oh, and at some point, Gordon learned that id Software used every bit of audio he delivered that was originally rejected, which was more than double the amount of music he was paid for. Some of it even made it into the official soundtrack of Doom Eternal. After presenting his evidence, id Software's legal team offered to settle. Negotiations began, and Gordon even offered to complete a proper original soundtrack, but under the condition that Stratton remove his Reddit post, which Gordon claims is full of lies and damaging to his reputation. At this point, Stratton's legal representatives declined, but instead offered a six-figure sum as hush money to never talk about the situation or badmouth ZeniMax employees again. Mick Gordon declined and then managed to get a Reddit mod to take the post down, which was then quickly reinstated, likely through legal pressure from Stratton or id. From there, Gordon says it was made clear that an amicable resolution would be impossible. Gordon concludes his post saying his public response now is, quote, a defense, not an unprovoked attack, published as a last resort and with extreme reluctance only after every other avenue to reach a mutually agreeable resolution has failed. Quote, Marty's words damaged my character and attacked my reputation. I have afforded him ample opportunity to address this issue, but his refusal to do so has left me with no option other than to issue this statement. To sum it all up, Gordon explains, quote, I never quit Doom. I quit a toxic client. Following Gordon's post, tons of fans have been posting online, and specifically the Doom subreddit, demanding justice for Mick. The posts have netted thousands of upvotes and likes on Reddit and Twitter respectively. One Reddit thread calls for id Software to turn over the awards Doom Eternal won for its soundtrack to Mick Gordon, awards that Stratton apparently accepted and collected on behalf of the studio. Another thread simply demands for Mark Stratton to come forward and tell the truth. As of the time of this recording, there is no official statement from Stratton, id Software, or Microsoft, who is now the current owner of Bethesda. Wow, that was a lot. Good luck to everyone involved. All right, we have a bunch more stories to get into, but first, can we talk about notifications for a second? Who actually leaves those sounds on anymore? Well, besides that kind, that's another sale on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify makes it simple to sell to anyone from anywhere. Whether your thing is vintage teas or recipes for homemade chili, start selling with Shopify and join the platform simplifying commerce for millions of your favorite businesses worldwide. With Shopify, you can create an online store with your own vibe and grow a base of returning customers. Shopify has all the sales channels sorted so your business keeps growing, from an in-person point-of-sale system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform, even across social media platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And thanks to 24/7 support and free libraries full of educational content, Shopify's got you every step of the way. It's how every minute new sellers around the world make their first sale with Shopify, and you will too. I know Shopify works because my wife has a small business that she runs and uses the Shopify backend. She loves it, it's great, and hearing that sound go off all the time is very, very nice. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/insidegaming, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/insidegaming to start selling online today. That's shopify.com/insidegaming. All right, on to the rest of the stories. Overwatch 2 still has a bunch of weird little issues. It's a new game, it's gonna happen. Most recently, Reddit user COurT, ha, that's clever, noticed some glaring differences between the old Cultist Zenyatta skin and the current rendition available within the game now. In short, Cultist Zenyatta's bright green orbs with eldritch runes have been replaced with dull orange ones. Dull orange runes, what is this? Okay, this may seem small, but it led to others seeking out more differences with skins across the entire game, and other issues were found like Corsair Anna's missing parrots. Oh no! Where did they fly off? Parrots might do that. They found a pirate ship somewhere. Really though, this does seem pretty minor compared to other Overwatch 2 issues like losing skins previously earned, being unable to access the shop, or having progress reset which prevents you from being able to play half the roster. Hopefully all that stuff gets fixed soon. There is another big industry controversy that has been further unraveled this week. 3 key developers behind Disco Elysium were let go by their parent company back in October, leading many to speculate about the reason. Most assume the motivations were corporate greed and infighting over the very successful game's royalties, or perhaps a hostile renegotiation of terms for a sequel. However, a new report from gamesindustry.biz sheds a little more light on the situation. Well, maybe. Disco Elysium designer Robert Kurvitz, writer Helen Hiddenpier, and art director Alexander Rostov were all let go by AHWU while presumably working on the next Disco game. The studio said, quote, "The dismissed employees had limited to no engagement in their responsibilities and work, created a toxic work environment, demonstrated misconduct towards other employees, including verbal abuse and gender discrimination, and attempted to illegally sell AHWU's intellectual property." However, one source that spoke to gamesindustry.biz described the situation as, quote, "not black and white." Another described the situation as, quote, "CEO corporate scheming on one side, a toxic auteur on the other." In a statement to gamesindustry.biz, AHWU said, quote, "The rumor that our decision to terminate the contracts of these individuals was taken for financial gain is entirely unfounded and does not in any way reflect the facts." So there you have it. Everything is not as quite as it seems over there at Estonia. The long-awaited Last of Us multiplayer game is still not done yet. That's not really news, and neither is this next bit really. The long-awaited Last of Us multiplayer game is very likely going to be free to play and have a battle pass. Everything has a battle pass. Marvel Snap it. Everything's got a battle pass. See, I told you. However, the reason we know why is kind of interesting. Naughty Dog has hired Fortnite battle pass designer Anders Howard as a principal monetization designer. That's a thing now, monetization designers? It's not official that he'll work on the Last of Us multiplayer game, but come on. I mean, he's a battle pass designer. What else is he gonna do? This week, Howard posted to Twitter a picture of himself at Naughty Dog headquarters with the caption, quote, "Hell yeah." I don't know what he sounds like. I'm assuming it's like that, kind of Beetlejuice. Hell yeah. And then was welcomed by a bunch of Naughty Dog veterans. In addition to working on Fortnite, Howard also helped with Battle Pass progression on Rocket League and Fall Guys, so regardless of how you feel about Battle Passes, this seems like a pretty smart move by Naughty Dog here to hire one of the OGs of getting people to pay more for grinding side quests in a game. Because you know you're gonna do it. You're gonna buy the battle pass. It's gonna happen. All right, for our last story, a Gears of War movie and animated series has been co-announced by the coalition who is partnering with, you guessed it, Netflix. Because they do everything. Glass Onion's coming soon. I'm excited for that one. An official post from the Netflix Twitter account reads, "Gears of War was released 16 years ago today, and to mark the occasion, Netflix has partnered with the coalition to adapt the Gears of War video game saga into a live-action feature film, followed by an adult animated series with a potential for more stories to follow." What, an adult animated series? That sounds like it could go any number of ways. With all the good video game show wins Netflix has had between The Witcher, Castlevania, and Cyberpunk 2077, it's kind of exciting. Hopefully it all comes together since there has supposedly been a Gears of War movie in the works for over a decade. Numbers of people have been through that, I think. There have been some rumors that Dave Bautista is attached to the film adaptation because that's always been a thing, but who knows? It's bounced through a number of people. He seems likely, right? Tell us in the comments who you want to see portraying members of the Delta Squad. Speaking of comments, this week, we found a deep cut in the last week's comments from Lewis Davies, who said, quote, "Jack doing these videos gives me mad early AHWU vibes. You're doing a great job." Thank you so much. For those of you who don't know, AHWU was a series we ran on Achievement Hunter back in the day. We ran it for like 12 years. It wrapped up. It was a lot of fun. It put our faces out there, and it was a good time. Me and Jeff doing dumb videos. So thank you for watching all of AHWU, and hopefully maybe something like that will come back someday. But until then, we have this. So yeah. All right, next week we'll pull a different comment down and go through it, but hope you dug that one. I liked it. Let's talk about some games that are coming out this week. I wonder how many endeavors were going on this time. What? Bound by Blades is an indie action RPG with a focus on intense boss battles. Confront ferocious foes, collect loot, and craft epic gear to tackle the challenges ahead in solo or two-player co-op. Bound by Blades comes to the PC on November 15th. Pentiment. Walk in the footsteps of Andreas Mahler, a master artist who finds himself in the middle of murder, scandals, and intrigue in the Bavarian Alps. Pentiment comes to the PC, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One on November 15th. Who will be the fastest Smurf in town? Really? I don't know. Who is the fastest Smurf? That's the question you will need to answer in this dynamic kart racing game in the world of Smurfs. That's what we need. Smurfs Kart, sure, is coming to the Switch on November 15th. Somerville. In the wake of catastrophe, you must find a means to make your family whole again. Somerville is a sci-fi adventure grounded in the intimate repercussions of a large-scale conflict. Somerville comes to the PC, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One on November 15th. Siberia, The World Before. Embark on a quest for identity through time as you piece together the puzzle of two lives. Siberia, The World Before comes to the PS5 and Xbox Series X on November 15th. Mark 1 for Embark. Adol awakens shipwrecked and stranded on a cursed island. Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana comes to the PlayStation 5 on November 15th. Let's assume that's the correct way to say Ys. Call of Duty Warzone 2.0! Hey, we made it to the second version. It's the next iteration of Call of Duty's massive free-to-play battle royale experience, which brings an all-new map, Al Mazrah, brand new gameplay innovations, and new player mechanics, and the all-new DMZ mode. Warzone 2 hits the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One on November 16th. A challenging exploration and survival adventure set in the dying world of dragons. Only those who harness the power of frozen flame have the means to survive the harsh conditions of the realm and a frozen flame. Coming to PC on November 17th. Pilgor's back! Yay, Pilgor! Everyone was waiting for Pilgor! Gather your herd and venture forth into Goat Simulator 3. Oh, come on now. It's Pilgor as a goat. An all-new, totally realistic multiplayer sandbox farmyard experience. There's so many totally realistic multiplayer sandbox farmyard experiences out there. But hey, this one's Goat Simulator 3, coming to the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, November 17th. Oakenfold, that's the DJ, right? No, I don't think so. Oakenfold, outsmart your foes in this clever turn-based strategy roguelike. Utilize the unique Time Scrubber, which has a trademark next to it, mechanic to discover the optimal solution. Never forget, every step matters. Oakenfold comes to the PC on November 17th. A group of documentary filmmakers receive a mysterious call inviting them to a modern-day replica of serial killer H.H. Holmes' murder castle. Why would you ever go to a murder castle? But on arrival, they soon discover there is much more at stake than just their ratings. Ooh. The Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me, comes to the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One on November 18th. You gotta love those Dark Pictures anthologies, they're fun. Black Magic in the Age of Pike and Shot. Reload your musket after every blast in Heidelberg 1693, a challenging 2D action adventure set in a dark and twisted version of the 17th century. Does anyone know what the normal version of the 17th century was? I don't. Heidelberg 1693 comes to the PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on November 18th. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. When a fierce power struggle threatens to destroy his home, Miles Morales must take up the mantle of Spider-Man and own it. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales hits the PC on November 18th, after it was on the PS5 before. And finally, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet are the first open-world RPGs in the Pokemon series. As you enjoy meeting, teaming up with, battling, training, and trading Pokemon, you'll be able to immerse yourself in a newly evolved adventure. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet hit the Switch on November 18th, Ryan Reynolds not included. All right, that's all the news for this week. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to tune into our big Extra Life live stream right now. That's right, if you are watching this on Saturday, November 12th, we are streaming for charity over on roosterteeth.com right now. So come on out, check out Extra Life, grab some merch, make a donation. It's a fantastic charity. We've been doing it for 10 years. It's our 10-year anniversary. So come hang out, have a great weekend. We love you. See you next time. Bye, everyone.